Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the First Class, Second Place podcast. I'm your host, Jason Enrique, and with me today we have another very special guest. I'm really glad that we finally been able to do this, man. Now, another reason why I wanted to bring this on, because not only is he a phenomenal interviewer and creative content and musician and so on and so forth, what have you, but this is the type of person that I feel like we need more of in this world. He's a great guy, very positive, and I think he has the ability to bring out the best in everybody in any room he steps in. Without no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Ryan Lamon. How you doing, brother?
That was so nice of you.
I said I meant every word, bro. I meant every word.
I'm now smiling ear to ear. I really do appreciate those words.
Oh, you're welcome, man. Hey, and show off that smile, man. It's a great smile. I tell everybody he has a $1 million smile, and somebody needs to write a check for it.
My nickname growing up was Smiley.
There you go. All right, there we go. All right. So before we start, I just want to remember everybody that we are in lovely Garfield, New Jersey, at Bravery Studios. Shout out to Steve Behind the Glass. Thank you very much, Steve, for everything that you do. All right. So let's get it started. So where does the story of Ryan Lamon begin? Like, where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in Ritchell Park, New Jersey. So I've been there for 26 years.
Okay.
So I was born in Hackensack Hospital, but
okay.
I grew up in Ritchell Park. I was in one house until I was 6 months old, and we moved to the house I'm still living in now.
Okay. And what was your personal experience like growing up in Richfield Park, New Jersey?
I mean, it's one of those amazing towns, one of those small, it's a village.
Yeah.
So it's not even necessarily a town. It's very small. You know, we had all the sports programs growing up. So I had a lot of really great friends in baseball and basketball and football. Like I did it all when I was growing up. So I really love my town. I think it's a great place to be. I'm still there. You know what I mean? So I definitely had a great experience growing up there.
Okay. Well, we're essentially neighbors because I actually live in Hackensack now. I grew up in Hawthorne, but I live in Hackensack now. I've been there for about 6 years now. So we're essentially neighbors now. So
I love it.
Yeah. So so growing up in Richfield Park, what were some dreams and aspirations that you had? Because I know that now you have like 1,000,001 things going on right now. But when I was a kid, there was a moment where I thought I wanted to be an astronaut, but I thought with these grades I'm never gonna make that. Dreams of being like a movie director, which are kind of coming into fruition now, so on and so forth. Just a whole bunch of things that I wanted to do. You personally, what did you want to do growing up? Like, what dreams and aspirations did you have?
I mean, first and foremost was always I wanted to be a basketball player.
Okay.
I wanted to be a football player. I love these sounds, by the way. This is amazing. This is the stuff that makes me happy, the little things. It was always started with sports.
Okay.
I grew up, my brother, he's 7 years older than me, so I was always just around his friends growing up. When he was 10 years old, I was 3 years old. I was like trying to play with them and like seriously like play basketball with them or play baseball. So it was always, writing in first grade, what do you want to be when you grow up? In third grade, what do you want to be when you grow up? Looking back at those papers, it was always, I want to be a basketball player. I want to be a football player. Which I guess I followed that dream until, I was a senior in high school, where I did have some offers to go and play in college football, but It was only Division III and there was one Division II school. So I ended up deciding to just stay back and start working and go to community college because they were giving me a scholarship to go, but it was only like half. So let's say the school was $50,000 a year. They're like, hey, we can give you a $25,000 scholarship. But I'm like, I got to come out of pocket for the rest. Like I didn't have anybody, like giving me money to go to college. So it was either I take out loans or I just say, you know what, I know I'm not going to get to the league, from a D3 school probably. So let me just stay back.
You were being realistic, essentially.
Yeah, I was being realistic. I had just started my band my senior year of high school. So that was like my first band and my first serious thing that I was taking on, as well as I started a job at Biggie's Clam Bar in Carlstadt, which I was there for about 4 years. So I just I wanted to make some money and then take what my new like dreams and aspirations were to a new level. So that's why I decided not to follow what my childhood dream was.
Yeah, but at least you went for it, because like for me, and I mentioned this plenty of times on the show before, where when I was like 8 or 9 years old, I had dreams of directing films, directing whatever, and but the thing is, my problem was I never put any effort into it. Like I mentioned this before in a previous episode, where I didn't even try to audition for any high school plays, or I didn't have a camera where I can make my own little home movies or anything. I just figured that when I grow up, I'll cross that bridge when I get there. But I just never really took I never put in the effort and the work, and also there was a lot of discouragement that was thrown my way because I let it affect me. There was a lot of people, specifically family, were telling me that that's it's nice, it's a nice dream to have, but it's not really attainable. You got to be really lucky to get into that. This, that, and the fourth, and they were trying to push other stuff like, have you thought about joining the army? Do you want to join the medical field, firefighting, police? Basically something safe. Spanish people, Spanish families, we always want to do something safe, especially if they're immigrants, they come from a different country and they want the best for us, but they're afraid for us to sometimes dream a little bit big subconsciously. But excuse me. But but I've always had a thing for entertainment. There was a time where I wanted to be in the radio business for a while, and it just didn't happen. But podcasting was kind of like a lifesaver.
Yeah, man, it's never too late. I mean, like, look at you now. Even from the time that I did the Why with you, I feel like there's been exponential growth even from that moment.
Oh, absolutely.
Just following you since then and like meeting you at that point, it's definitely been exponential growth since then.
Yeah, and I appreciate you saying that and also acknowledging it. And the podcast now is 2 years old. I just celebrated my 2-year anniversary this past Saturday. So I was on National Podcast Day, which I don't know if you're aware, but I released the first episode on National Podcast Day without even thinking it was National Podcast Day. I remember you mentioning that. Yeah, it was just the luck of the draw. It just out of a hat, and then one day I was like, oh, I guess this is something that I'm supposed to do. But I tell people all the time that if they need an example, especially actions speak louder than words, just take a look at me. Now, I haven't achieved everything that I wanted to do, but I've been able to achieve some of the things that I said I was out to do, and some things that I never thought would come across my way. So the possibilities are out there, and I don't want to sound like negative or anything. It's just that, every now and then I still deal with a little bit of imposter syndrome, or like always feeling like I was never good enough to do this or that. But I was able to shed it. It still comes back to me every now and then because I'm still human. But I think I've been able to learn better at it and also just grow from it, as opposed to just listening to the outside noise. If that makes sense.
That's exactly what you have to do. You just have to. Everything is finding what that self growth is like, and sometimes I guess we seek to feel that uncomfort, so that or the discomfort, so that we could, like just get past it, because that it brings out something. It brings out some kind of different energy when you get past something. So like subconsciously, like that might be something that you did too. You're like, this is something that people always put me down for. There's something that sometimes I feel imposter syndrome. When you reach that you reach that top of the mountain, it's gonna feel so much better.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
it's gonna feel great.
Yeah. Now, I also know, in doing my research and a couple other podcasts that you've done, and also from your content and everything, you seem to come from a really great family. Like, I know that your family was very giving. It was almost kind of like they were like the Robin Hood of Richfield Park. Like, they were always trying to like help others in need, and this, that, and the third. And I think it's actually given you the personality that you are now, and now you want to spread that positive energy towards everybody. And I know that people sometimes could be cynics, and they'll actually question like where does that come from? Where does that wanting to need to help come from? And I mentioned this on a couple of episodes before that sometimes when it comes to the negative aspect, there's people that are dealing with trauma, there's people that are dealing with past whatever, or their financial, whatever the case may be, or there's just people that are just like the Joker and they just want to see the world burn. There's no rhyme or reason. They're just negativity. But I think the other way could be said. It could be said the other way around. Like, why does anybody necessarily need a reason to be positive? Why can't it just be just to feel good? And I think that's the vibe that I get from you, and also the family that you came from.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. I'm I'm not 100% sure exactly where it comes from. All I know is that, and I mentioned this on Therapy Without a Degree.
Yeah, shout out to Joe Fugurino.
Yeah, shout out to Joe. My grandparents, they would just like take in dogs, take in cats from the street. They actually even had somebody live with them for a few years. That was my uncle's friend that didn't have a place to stay, a house to live in. And then that translated to my mom doing the same exact thing, where I had stray cats then living in my house. I had fostered dogs living in my house, taking care of them, bathing them, and trying to get them adopted, to then eventually no one would adopt them. So we would keep them. And that happened a few times, and then that even turned into my mom mentoring younger kids, younger girls. She was in a Big Sister program, they would call it. And what that Big Sister program is young girls that didn't have their family around, or maybe they had a troubled family, and my mom would take them to go and do like little play dates. Like, oh, we're gonna go to the mall, we're gonna do your homework, when I pick you up, we're gonna take you bowling, we're gonna go to the zoo, we're gonna do all of these things, we're gonna go to the park, go to a basketball game. So throughout the years, she had probably mentored about a total of 12 girls.
Wow.
So from the age of me being, I think, 7 years old or 8 years old till still to this day, my mom has taken in a lot of people and helped them, which was really just, I would say it was a blessing to see as such a young kid, because I was right there with them.
Yeah.
So I also knew their struggles, because my mom would kind of give me a little update so that I would know, like, how can I help them?
Right.
Like, where are we going today? Are we going to the mall? Are we going to the zoo? Are we going to the basketball game? Or are we doing the homework together? And I would be there almost every single time, with these girls that just had trouble in their life. Like, whether it be maybe a parent was in jail, or whether it be that someone just wasn't present, or they were just fighting at home, and it was an escape. It was always an escape. So I feel like I've always been in some way an escape for people, because I did have such a great family, such a great personal family.
Like a foundation.
The foundation is really strong. And I feel like people do come to us to just escape for a little bit.
Right.
Because it's still reality, though. Like, we're still very much a very realistic family. Like, it's not like we're very wealthy. Right. It's not like we're all like supermodels or actors or, like, we're very normal, average family, but we really try to bring the best out of people. And I think that's what you said. Like, I want to say that is my favorite quality about my family, and I'm coming to find about myself, is that my role in this world is to be that supporter and to be that leader and to bring the best out of people. Right. And if I'm not doing that, I'm not happy myself, which then doesn't create anybody else to be happy either around me, because I'm putting out bad energy. But when I'm helping people, and when I'm allowing myself to be the escape for someone else, or be that motivation, that's when I'm super high energy. That's when I'm just like living life to the fullest. And that's when I feel like the flow and the vibe of the world is, I'm not thinking, oh my God, is Russia gonna nuke us tomorrow? This whole world could end tomorrow. And I'm thinking, oh my God, there's so much life to live. Like, that's where I'm at right now, because I feel like I'm tapping into the right source of energy, and I'm running into the right people, and I'm motivating the right people. So my mantra right now is just like, wow, there's so much life to live. I can't wait for the next 80 years.
I love
that's
that.
how I feel right now.
I love that. Round of applause real quick, Steve. I love that. Hi, Mom. Yeah, so you mentioned something a little bit a while ago, that, you know, the struggles that your family and you even personally had to go through, and that's what I think I love about that is the fact that I feel like it gave you balance, because growing up the way that you depict it to be or how you say it, it could actually come off as a little bit of naive or not knowing what, how to balance out the positivity and negativity. But you've gone through your personal struggles as well, and not necessarily about like mental health or anything, even though you probably went through that. But I do remember that, you being a businessman, you had talked to me and Joe and a whole bunch of other people about how the struggle was to get your business off the ground, and everything that you were going through, and all the trials and tribulations and everything that was getting thrown your way. And then there was just another problem that came in that you didn't need, and so on and so forth. But you rose above it. And I think that the reason why you were able to rise to the occasion is because you just refused to go down. Like your need to actually get this out and be consistent and stay on top of it is what brings you into the position that you're in right now. And I think that not only has it made you a better businessman, but I think it actually built your character as well. Because like I said before on the show, that when I started the podcast, I started in my apartment closet. And that was episode 1, and now we're past 100 episodes, and we're in the studio now. And I like the fact that I was able to grow as a host, as opposed to just waiting for everything to fall into place, and then afterwards I would get the ball rolling, because I feel like my talent would have stayed stagnant. I feel like the struggles and everything that I was going through, getting to the level that I'm at now, it has actually made me a better host. And I'm not just saying this because I just believe in myself. I've actually been hearing it from other people that they've actually seen the growth within me, and I think the actions have been speaking louder than words.
Yeah, I could agree. From the first time I met you to right now, there's definitely growth. And yes. I said that in the beginning. I firmly believe that. And I didn't even know that you're over 100 episodes now. That's amazing. Congratulations for that.
Thank you.
Because people love growth. I love growth. I love seeing, and I say this about any brand. Like if I'm trying to help out a brand, or I'm trying to help out a company, or I'm trying to do my own company, I love when I see those pictures of what Nike's first logo looked like to compare to what it looks like now. Instagrams, Twitters. I love seeing that just growth and that difference from the first moment to where it's at now to where the future is going to be. So I think that just starting something is the answer. You can't wait for it to fall into place. It's never going to fall into place exactly how you think it's going to be. You just have to start it off and figure it out through the way. You got to figure out if you like it or not. You got to figure out if you want to do this for a long time, or is it just a hobby in the meantime? You know what I mean? And all of these things are possibilities.
Right.
All of those things are, you're never going to know until you're in the moment that you have to make a decision whether it's going to be something you do for the rest of your life, or it's something that you just want to be a hobby. You got to just start it up.
Why do you feel like in this day and age that everybody wants to be their own business person and, do their own thing and basically go against the grain? Why do you think it's been troubling for some people, to you personally, that they've been able to stay stagnant or not get over that hump per se?
Great question. I think one, consistency. I think a lot of people struggle with just consistency itself, because inconsistent work doesn't allow growth, because it's just too much in between. If you're doing something and you do it 1 week, but then you skip a week, you skip 2 weeks, and then you get back at it, there's no way that you're going to grow through that. It's like going to the gym. You have to be consistent. You have to go at least 3 days a week to see the results. You have to eat healthy to see the results. Same thing with starting a business. You have to be there all the time. You have to be doing the work. You can't allow time in between. You can't allow that space for no growth. That's where the growth is in those days that you don't want to do it. In the days that you want to skip out on maybe going and cleaning the space, painting the space, doing the thing, doing the scheduling. that's where the real growth and learning is. And without that, you're just kind of going to stay in the same place. Because like the gym, if you only go once and then you skip 2 weeks and then you eat unhealthy, it's actually going to get worse. So like I think inconsistency is probably one of the biggest factors. Past that, maybe I think a lot of people maybe jump into it and, quickly realize that maybe they made the wrong move and they're maybe a little timid to admit that.
Right.
And then they just try to get through it without, really like breaking down the facts of the matter. And, I definitely have been there too, where like, it's very hard to admit that something is a failure or something is not exactly, where you want it to be in the moment. And then you have to make the decision. Is this something I want to continue? Or is this something that's weighing me down and not allowing a new door to open up?
Right.
And that's a huge, huge lesson that I'm have learned. When one door closes, that next day, that next hour, something just like, that you never expected. And that's happened to me a few times now. So like, you got to really know when to cut your losses. You got to know when to cut who's really bringing you down, what's bringing you down, and get out of your own way. You always hear that, get out of your own way, get out of your own way. That's a really, really, like, that's probably, again, like number one or top 10 lessons where everything is like number one. You know what I mean? Like when I'm saying something is like really important and I mention 10 things, they're all number one. They all are the same weight.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So like, yeah, I think when you're starting a business or you're starting a creation, type of atmosphere for yourself, you have to be consistent. You have to really love what you're doing. You always hear that too. Like, love what you do. You'll never work a day in your life.
Yep.
You have to know when to cut your losses. Just like if something's not feeling right, if something's not flowing right, just end it. Just end it. Because it's not going to get to the point where it's supposed to get to.
Right. And also, I feel because of this new generation that we're in, because everything is so accessible to us, I think instant gratification or lack thereof can also be a factor, because I know several people that have tried to start a podcast or a YouTube channel or start an album or whatever the case may be, and they just don't get the instant gratification that they're looking for. Like, okay, maybe the numbers didn't come out the way that I wanted to. Maybe this didn't happen. Maybe that didn't happen. And I think the fact that it didn't happen right away or on their timeline is a sign of discouragement as well. Because listen, I remember a friend of mine, best friend in the whole world. We've been friends for over 30 years now. He sent me something that was actually very encouraging. I wish I still had it. I unfortunately don't. But what I do remember about it is he sent me a reel on Instagram about a podcaster that's not necessarily famous, but it's what they do for a living now. And he said that it took him really 6 years to really get it off the ground. And actually, that's what he does with his life now. All he does is just content create. And it took 6 years. But I don't think that guy would have continued doing it if it wasn't something that he was passionate about, something that he loved. Whereas I think a lot of people, and I've mentioned this plenty of times on other platforms and not just this one, that, like Marv alluded to earlier, that, you see somebody like Joe Rogan who gets $100 million deal from Spotify to do a podcast. And now people are like, oh, maybe this is the new way that I can make money now. But the fact that they're not thinking the hard work that it comes into it, Me just stepping here and just talking in front of a microphone, there's actually more to it that goes to just this. There's research, and I have to make sure that I know what I'm talking about. I got to make sure that I'm presentable on camera. I got to make sure that the numbers are there, this, that, and the fourth. There's all these intricacies that go into it, but I wouldn't go through it if I really truly didn't believe in myself and what this platform can be. And I think that that's another reason why people jump ship very early on, because they don't get that instant gratification that they're looking for.
A lot of people are looking for quick money.
Yes.
So with quick money are quick goals. or maybe not even goals at all. The goal is only to get quick money. Whereas like you have some dreams, you have some aspirations, like you just said.
Right.
You have a higher goal. You have a goal that you set and something in mind, something that you envisioned, something that you dreamed of. Whereas I think there's probably just some people that are like, I could probably make a quick bag off this.
Yeah.
And that's what they're focused on. You know what I mean? And those people will take themselves out of the picture once they get their quick money, and they'll do what they got to do. You know what I mean? Right. And like guys like us, we just got to keep riding. Yeah. Just keep going through it, because there's always going to be those people. Right.
And like you said earlier, you got to learn how to cut your losses sometimes. And I think that's another thing that people haven't done. I feel like because of their egos, as much as they don't want to admit that it's their egos, they don't want to cut their losses.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to do. Yeah. It's like you got to look in the mirror, you got to look at yourself and say, am I in the right situation right now? Am I doing the right thing? Am I with the right people? Are they bringing the best out of me? When I'm around this person, what am I like? When I'm around that person, do I love that version of myself? Yeah, I love that version of myself. All right, cool. I got to hang out with those people a little bit more. You know what I mean? And then you start feeling better. You start seeing new things that you never realized. You're like, oh man, look at that new building that was just built right there. I never even seen that. You know what I mean? And then like someone tells you like, bro, that's been there for 5 years. Like you start seeing things a little bit differently, and you see the light of the world. So.
Yeah, no, I totally 100% agree with you. Now, you know, people like us, you know, not sound cocky or anything, but people like us, we really believe in what we want and what we want to do, and we're hard workers, and, you know, but at the end of the day, we're all human. You know, there's nothing that's perfect about us. And I think that one of the things that is imperfect about us, and it's one of the reasons why I think that you and me have a couple of things in common, is I don't know many people out there that are as much as a picky eater as you are, because I'm a goddamn picky eater myself as well.
I mean, I got some updates for the world.
Oh yeah,
I have some updates on my eating journey.
Oh really?
Yes. So.
Yeah. Because before you do that, I just want to say that I'm the type of person like you where, like, if I go someplace, whether it's like McDonald's or a diner or 5-star restaurant or whatever, I'm gonna get a cheeseburger, but I'm just gonna get it plain with cheese, maybe medium well. I don't care about lettuce, tomato, mayo, or anything like that. I'm good with just ketchup.
Yeah, no, that's same. I'm still the same there as far as like my burger choice, or if I'm getting like a chicken sandwich, it's just got to be the patty.
Yeah.
Cheese and well done bacon. Right. We're good to go. And then ketchup on the side.
I'm very simple, but you know, I get judged all the time, especially since I'm Hispanic. There's a lot of Hispanic foods that are very popular amongst our culture, but I'm not a fan of. People actually look like they want to, you know, throw daggers at me when I tell them that I don't like mango. I can't do it.
What is it? The consistency?
It's the consistency, it's the taste, and I also hate onions. I will not touch an onion at all. Yeah, that's just me. And it's funny because everybody keeps on saying that, oh, that's because you haven't tried my mango. Like, no, I've tried it all. And I'm one of those people that if I say I don't like something, it's because I tried it, all right? Yeah. I used to be that kid that I would just look at broccoli and I wouldn't eat it because it just looked nasty. Now it's my favorite vegetable, but the point is that I actually try everything now, and if I like it, great. And if I don't say that like, oh, it's because you haven't tried this or you whatever. No, I've actually tried it, and I know what the fuck my taste buds are.
There you go. I love that. You gotta stand your ground.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I'm definitely at that moment now where I'll try it all. Like throw whatever you want in front of me. Like the last time that I was with you, at Joe's spot, we were talking about how I had just tried sushi for the first time.
Yes.
I've had that omakase, the sushi by Boo. I've had it now like 4 or 5 times, and I crave it.
Yeah, oh,
like,
it's so good.
Crave it so much. And I go there, you know, like every 2 months or so, and I'll go and, you know, and grab some sushi. So that's been like a new venture. I was just in Portugal. I tried a new type of fish. I tried a new type of like pasta and different sauces that I've never had before. I mean, I've just kind of been trying it all. Yeah. Like whatever like my girlfriend throws in front of me as far as like, hey, we're going out to this restaurant. You've never tried this food before. Try this. I'll try it.
Yeah. Well, me, Steve, and the whole other guys, we have like sushi nights like maybe once a month or something. So maybe you got to roll out with us one of these days.
I would love to.
Yeah. I know that Steve's mouth is salivating right now.
I'm a new man. Like people still ask me. They see me. People that haven't seen me in a while, or family that I grew up, as a young kid. They be like, "Oh, Ryan, you're still just eating chicken fingers and fries?" Every time they see me, "Oh, hey, do you have a bottle? You want a side of fries with the ketchup?" They'll say it to me. You know what I mean? Like all stuff like that. Like I just grew up eating waffles, pizza, and chicken fingers and fries. Like that was it, and toast.
Yeah. I mean, you know what it's like? Like that was probably me when I was younger. I remember watching the making of featurette of Rush Hour 2 back in when people used to watch DVDs. And I remember while they were filming Rush Hour 2, the director and some of the crew said that everybody that worked on the film that wasn't acting, they probably ate more McDonald's than they ever have in their life. But me, I would have been like, no, I'm in a different country. It's a different culture. I want to try all this stuff, I if I was out there, I definitely would have tried everything and anything under the sun.
Yeah. That's where I'm at now. Put it in front of me. I'll try it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Like, let's go. I'm down.
No.
Like I've opened up my palate. We're getting there. And I'm trying to make people proud out here. I want them to be like, good job. Good job, Ryan. You finally got past being a 4-year-old kid.
You got a Chariots of Fire back there, Steve, by any chance? There we go. I could just, with this music right now, it's just like he's opening that wrapper, trying that new piece of food that you haven't tried yet. Everybody's cheering you behind the scenes. Ryan.
That's what it feels like. And it's so funny because every time I try something new, my girlfriend will take a picture of me and send it to my mom. And my mom will be like, no way. There's no way that he just had that. And I'm like, you see me like smiling there with like a new piece of something. And I'm just like,
that's awesome, man. I love it. So, me personally, I am a hip hop fanatic, but as talking about opening up our our minds to more open things, I've become a little bit more of a music aficionado and so on and so forth. And I know that you're a musician. However, I want to know, what is exactly sludge?
So I always say that my guys, they don't always 100% agree with me, but I say that sludge is more of like a lifestyle for us.
Okay.
Because there is a genre called sludge, and it's like sludge metal, which we're not metal. We're just like rock. We're rock, hip hop, and a little bit of hard rock, but we're not metal. We're not sludge genre.
Okay.
We're sludge lifestyle. So what I mean by that is that it's to be or not to be. So it's to be sludgy or not be sludgy. And that's like your choice for the night. So I always explain it in the way, you come to a concert. Are you going to be standing in the back by the bar watching the show? Or are you going to get sludgy and get to the front of the stage? And you're going to be dancing and you're going to be jumping around after the show. Are you going to go home and go to sleep? Or are you going to get sludgy and you're going to come to the after party? It could kind of go any way, whatever choice you're making.
Okay.
And like, I guess we would always choose the sludgy choice. We're going to be at the after party. We're going to be rocking out on the stage, not just being in the back. We're going to just make the sludgy choice, which is more of like, what's going to be more fun?
Yeah.
Going to sleep or coming and hanging out with 40 people at the after party and just like everybody talking, having fun with a new community of people.
Yeah.
So that's really what it is for me.
Well, I'm definitely showing my age here, but Steve will agree with me. Like, Steve, you remember when back then for us, it was like, are you going to go home or are you going to get crunk?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. It's like the same exact thing.
Yeah.
But it's not like, oh, you have to, get drunk to be sludgy. You have to be high to be sludgy. No, you just have to like choose what would necessarily be like the more fun, outlandish, interesting choice.
Basically going the extra mile, so to speak.
Yeah, like just like letting yourself go, letting yourself be loose.
Nice.
Letting your guard down. That's really what it is letting your guard down.
Okay. All right. I like that. I like that. So with that being said, I know that you have a band called Toy Machine. I've actually, like I said, I've been more open-minded to music now. I've been checking out Toy Machine. I've seen some of the music videos. You guys are really good. Some like it's actually really fun. Like I listen to your music and I just, the best way I could describe it is just fun. You know, you guys can, you could tell that you're having fun making the music, doing the music, and your fans are enjoying the music and having as much fun as you guys. So how long have you been a musician, or how long have you been just into music in general?
So I really got into music when I was 10 years old. So my cousin Mikey, who's the bass player in Toy Machine, he started playing the guitar when he was about 3 or 4 years old. His dad grew up playing music. So Mikey was born into rock and roll.
Okay.
So he was started really like writing his own songs when he was about 5 years old, which was just mind boggling to me. And then he's 6, 7 years old and he's playing at his talent show in school. And now I'm going and I'm seeing him play in front of like a whole gym of people. There's like 800 people in the gym, his first show ever, you know, and they're going crazy because he's like a little peanut playing a guitar that's bigger than him. Wow. You know what I mean? And it was like so eye-opening for me to see him achieve that on stage, that I remember when I was 10 years old, my brother, I had mentioned, is 7 years older than me.
Right.
He had graduated high school, and my uncle, who's Mikey's dad, had gotten him a gift, and the gift was a guitar. He got him a red SG. And my brother went to what they call project graduation, which is like after you graduate, they try to prevent people from going out getting drunk partying. They'll take you to like a Dave and Buster's, or they'll take you to trampoline park, whatever, like something that you could do with your class last time together.
Well, that's pretty cool.
So
I like that idea.
They sleep over there. So my uncle had dropped off the guitar and I had already opened the guitar.
Oh shit.
And I had already plugged it in and I already had claimed it, basically.
Nice.
Like I kind of stole it from my brother. Like, and I'm sorry, Billy, I'm sorry I took the guitar. But it was exactly, literally, that was like the first moment that I remember being really excited about playing music, because I had the guitar there at my house now. I could really sit down and learn.
Yeah.
And I was taught, you know, by my cousin and my uncle. We would just learn by ear. Like, It wasn't like, oh, we go to the lessons, you know, every week, or, oh, here's the YouTube video. It wasn't like that at that time. It was just throw on the Stone Temple Pilots record, throw on the Black Sabbath record, you know, put in the Incubus CD, and you know, let's listen to Highway to Hell by AC/DC and just learn it by ear.
That's awesome.
Where is it? Where is it on the guitar? You know what I mean? Like, there's only 8 notes on the guitar, and there's all different variations of those notes. So just listen to it. And at one point, you're going to slide down that string and you're going to find what sound that is. It's really that easy. But it takes a lot of repetition. It takes a lot of consistency. So from that moment, it was just like, go time. My cousin and I, we just start writing music together at that moment, like 10 and 7 years old. Like, we're playing Iron Man, we're playing Smoke on the Water, but then we're playing Mikey's original, Ryan's original, Mikey's fast song. Like, we would just name these things. We had a song called, because there's a band Iron Maiden, we had a song called Made in Basement because we wrote it in the basement.
I see what you did.
And it was like an Iron Maiden song. It was like dun, 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 dun.
Oh shit.
And we would just like make all these crazy references, and we would watch School of Rock, which I have this tattoo from School of Rock.
Great movie, by the way.
Raise Your Goblet of Rock, which is like, I love that movie. I could go on for years and years about School of Rock. It's the best movie ever created.
Yeah, I love that movie.
And you know, from that moment, it was just like, this is what I'm doing. And I still was playing sports, and I was really loving sports, and I was really loving music. And I played my first concert when I was 15 years old. My uncle needed a bass player. His bass player had like dropped out of the band for the show or something like that. And he was like, Ryan, you know all the songs. You've been to our practices. You know, you've been in the studio with us. You've been helping us. It's time for you to step up. And, you know, I went in Union City. My first show was at Union City Night Out for Crime, which they do. Like, it's like a, you know, a whole street fair.
Yeah.
And I was able to play the bass. And then I actually rapped LL Cool J, Mama Said Knock You Out.
Oh, shit. Nice.
So my first concert, I sang and rapped. And I played the bass, so it was such an experience. And then that moment just dragged, you know, I kept playing with him, and then I started my first band when I was 17 years old, at the start of senior year of high school. I started my first band. We were called Blue Lizard, and we just got to it. Like, we started playing shows right away. I had sold over 100 T-shirts to my school before we even played a note. Like, I was just building up a fan base. And then like that ran into, you know, the next few years of like having different singers, having different lineups, where eventually I became the singer and lead guitar player. Because I started off the band as the drummer. Right. Like, I was playing drums to start the band. Then I ended up becoming the lead singer guitar player, to then now present moment, I found Ray, and I ran into Ray, our singer now, and I just stuck to the guitar and doing like backup vocals and stuff.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you could stream Toy Machine wherever you get Apple, Spotify, everything, YouTube. Check it out. Really, really great band. I really enjoy it. I actually want to see you guys perform live. Now, there's been a couple of instances where I've been given opportunities, or you've invited me. It's just that there's been so much going on, and I feel bad for every time I can't show up. But it's gonna happen.
It'll be the right moment. Right. That's all that matters.
Yeah,
I believe in that. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to come when it really matters. And like, we need you there. We need your energy there.
I appreciate that. Yeah. That's now you make me feel better about not being able to.
No worries at all. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it happens to all of us. Like, you want to support everybody in the world, but you got to support yourself. Yeah. You got to make sure you take care of yourself first. If you have priorities and those are first priority, that's what it is, you know, until you find that perfect moment where it's like, yo, I'm coming out to the show tonight, and now I'm going to be extra hyped, and I'm going to do some like solo in my face or something like
nice.
That. Just for you.
I appreciate that. First class music. You heard it here first. Yeah. So, I mean, besides music and besides being a businessman and doing all these things, and, I think one of the things that that's going to tie us forever together is an incredible format that you created, which is called Why. Now I've know a couple of people that you've had on the show before and everything, and I actually think that you are a multi-talented guy, not just with music and not just with everything else that we mentioned, but one of the things why I loved that episode that we did together was because I think that as much as you were complimenting me on how I did on the show, I always tell people, and I've even told you, that I don't think that the show wouldn't have been as great. I don't think I would have been as great on the show if it wasn't for Ryan. I think that Ryan did a phenomenal job, and I think that I was able to reciprocate what he was giving me, and I think that's why it became such it's actually done wonders for me. Like, I've shown so many people that video, and everybody has been complimenting me on not just me, but also the format and how you did it, and everything that you did. And I think that was just a testament of something that, later on in the future, like, some magic could be really made with this kind of chemistry. And it was definitely one of the highlights of my young career. I always look back at that day as as a great day. I'm so glad that I did it, and I really hope that it did great things for you as well.
It definitely did. I mean, it brought me, new connections through you, that I was able to interview some more people.
That's right. Yes.
Which was very, very cool. And I appreciate, you sending me some people. And that's exactly what the Why is for. Everything that you just said that it did for you, it's for you.
Yeah.
Like, it is 100% calculated to be for the person that's sitting in that chair. Mm-hmm. And what I've come to understand exactly what it is it's a timepiece for you to look at in a year, 20 years, 50 years, and say, do I really like that person that was sitting in that chair? And do I need to re-find that person? Did I lose some of that energy that I had? Or does that person really like, man, who was I? I'm so happy where I have gotten to in present day. Like, you might look at that in a year and say, man, I really grew a lot. Or you might look at it in a year and say, I got to find that Jason again. Like that Jason, he had something there. Mm-hmm. There was something that and you can analyze it and say, that's exactly what I'm missing. I said that one thing that now sparked the next 5 years. Mm-hmm. It might spark an inspiration again.
Well, you know what? I can tell you right now, it didn't even take a year. It actually happened within this year, because we shot that back in January. Yeah. We're in October now. So back then, I look at that now, and, you know, between that time, I'll be honest with you, everything's been going great. Everything's been going lovely, but there's been a little bit of trials and tribulations that I've been dealing with in my personal life and everything. And it kind of made me lose sight of where I wanted to go and where I needed to go. And then when certain things had just fallen apart and I feel like I had to build myself back up, I take a look at that, and it took me back to a time where I was really, really happy. And it was also kind of a reminder for me that I really did, and not to sound cocky or egotistical or anything, but I really did build something from the ground up, and I just needed to have that spark again. And I think that's what I needed. I needed to see that. So
let's go. That's exactly what I love. That is what makes me that makes me like insanely happy, because that's the I don't even know if this is the right word, the precipice of the interview. Yeah, is for you to find yourself again.
Right. And the only thing that I'll say after all of that is that Jason back in January, I think he could look at the Jason now in October and be like, yeah, you did a really good fucking job, and keep it going.
Let's go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Yes. Now, what I will say is that we definitely need some more why, because I checked out every single episode that you've done, and you've had some really great people on there. But we need more, man. We need some more of that.
You know what? It's something, again, that it's a gift to the person, right? And I really hold it like near and dear to my heart. Like, I want to make sure that it's the right gift, and I want to make sure that it's the right time. And I'm all about perfect timing and making sure that the situation is the right time to strike on it. So recently I'm really heavily focused on giving myself the time that I've given to others, and really giving myself that self-love and self-appreciation and time for me to build the things that can bring me more wise.
Yes. Perfect.
You see what I'm saying?
Perfect.
I'm trying to say is, like, I have to get myself to a point in my life where, one, my finances are in order, two, my businesses are in order, my band's in the right place where I want it to be, the balance of my family and, you know, my personal life is where I want it to be, so that I could be the best version of myself, so that I could spread that true love and spread that real positivity, and not feel maybe like an imposter for a second. Like, I want to go into it and walk into it with so much good energy, like I had in that moment doing it with you, that I don't, it's just not first on my list right now.
Sure.
But it's something that I am going to continuously do throughout my life, because I want that same impact. I want to have that impact on 1 million people. Like, I don't want it to stop here. It's just not the right moment for me to do it right at this moment. You know, I just got to get my stuff in order.
Got you. Well, when it does happen, one person that I would love to recommend is Steve Behind the Glass, because he does a lot on the show, but there's a lot more to him than just pushing buttons and being an engineer here at Bravery Studios. There's a lot more to him. He's actually a little bit more famous than us. He was actually on an episode of Impractical Jokers. That's awesome. He's out there in the stratosphere. So, but yeah, definitely check out Steve. He's a hell of a gamer, hell of a guy. He's got one of the hardest beards I've ever seen in my life. So, yeah. So, but yeah, no, I understand where you're coming from completely. I'm just saying that, like, I'm glad to hear that it's an evergreen thing for you. It's not going to go anywhere. Forever. I'm just looking forward to more. That's all I'm simply saying. And a lot of people always compliment me on my voice and everything, but I think you have a tremendous voice. I like listening to your voice, and I just want to lay in a bed made out of your voice. So
yo, I appreciate you. That's so funny. I honestly have never heard that about my voice. I feel like sometimes, nobody likes their own voice. I don't mind my own voice, but I don't really know what I sound like. Like, when I listen to myself, I'm like, I feel like sometimes I sound like this, sometimes I sound like that. So I'm like, like, that's pretty cool to hear that you like my voice. I
actually enjoy hearing you talk, whether it's in person or on other podcasts or the medium, or even when you singing with Toy Machine. Cool. I really enjoy it. I think you really have something there. I really do. I
really appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome, man. Well, listen, we're cutting close now. I feel like I could talk to you for hours about a lot of things, but you know what? We could definitely have you on the show again. I'm really glad that we finally did this. It's been a long time in the making, but you know what? Great things happen to those that wait.
Yep.
Yeah,
exactly.
So before we go, though, I just have one more question for you, and then afterwards we'll put a bow on this episode. So I ask this question to everybody that comes on at the end of the show, and just something to have fun with, nothing crazy, So if you're a fan of the show also, you know what's coming next. So you, Ryan Lamon, if they were to make a movie on your life, which actor would you like to see portray your character, and why?
Young Leo.
Basketball Diaries Leo. I like that.
young Leo, Titanic Leo, Huey Gilbert, great, whatever. But I think young Leo. Okay. I've heard, like one or two people have said that I look like a young Leo.
I could see that.
I don't know if that's the truth. I don't know if they're lying to me or not.
I can see a little bit,
But
it's not there
I always say, no mientas.
No mientas. I love it. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this episode of First Class Second Place. Can't even fucking talk today, but excuse me. But thank you so much for coming through, Ryan. I really appreciate this, and thank you guys for watching. Where can they find you on social media real quick?
My personal is at Ryan Lamon _ And then if you get to that page and you go to my bio, you'll find the Film Factory Loft, Toy Machine, and Rockin' Ain't Easy, which is something else that I just kind of do on the side for musicians and, trying to make people in the music industry make their life a little bit easier.
I love that. And anybody want to give a shout out to before we close out?
I could shout out for like hours and hours. Shout out to, shout out to my family and all of my close friends, everybody that has been here through any type of journey. And shout out to everybody who has supported me and has done business with me. I really do appreciate my business partners and my business connects and the people that I allowed to associate myself with through, making money and making people happy. Like those are the people that I just like love seeing, and like, they're kind of like acquaintances, but this feels deeper because it's business. And those people, they make my everyday like really fun to wake up and, call a Joe or a Rui or, like people through the factory. And it's, I don't know, it's a blessing to have those kind of connections as well.
It is.
Because you have a lot of ride or die people there. And I'm very fortunate and blessed to the people that I have been presented to and the people that I've made connections with. So shout out to the world, man.
I love that.
To everybody. Like, just everybody keep doing your thing in the world. Don't spread any hate Just like, if there needs to be hate for a second, maybe there needs to be hate for a second, but then get over it and love. And then like, let's just live life. Don't let life live you. Dale, no dile.
Love it. Love it. Round of applause real quick, Steve. Love that. Well, Ryan, man, thank you so much, man. Can't wait to do this again with you. And
whenever.
If you ever need a sequel to Y, let me know.
100%. We'll have your Y 2.0 in a few years.
Nice. I love that.
100%.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on this episode. And you can find me at JasonEnrique_ on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Threads, all social media. Don't forget to like, subscribe on YouTube at First Class Second Place. This has been the First Class Second Place podcast, live from Bravery Studios. We out.